Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have another top 5 for you. This one's going to be a little interesting. This is top 5 horror that features wrestlers. Now, when it comes to entertainment, horror is 100% my first love, but a close second will be pro wrestling. I have loved pro wrestling since I was a kid in the 90s, and when I find a movie that has a wrestler in it that's also horror, I get pretty excited. So I kind of love them, even though most of the time they're actually not the greatest movies. But hey, I like bad movies. So let me start by saying a disclaimer that my top 5 lists are more like my fave fives. So these are my favorite movies that involve wrestlers. Not the best. My top 5s are never going to be the best because I like bad movies, so they're going to be my favorites. Easy enough? Okay. So, I had some criteria that I wanted to go by when I picked these movies. First, I wanted to make sure that the wrestler in the movie is prominent and recognizable. So, you have to know that, okay, yeah, that's who that is, right? So someone like Hornswoggle in Leprechaun Origins doesn't count because it's just all prosthetics, and unless you saw the name come up in the credits, you're not going to know that's Hornswoggle. Also, that's a shitty movie. Well, it's not the greatest movie, I should say. I still watch it from time to time, but there are better Leprechaun movies. A lot better Leprechaun movies. Also, I don't count like stuntmen, such as like in Freddy vs. Jason, I believe in the boiler room scene particularly, Rey Mysterio, believe it or not, played Freddy Krueger for the stunts. I think that's awesome, and I love Rey Mysterio, but I don't count that, okay? And another thing, I wanted to have it so that there's just one movie per wrestler. So if someone like Tyler Mane, who's been in Rob Zombie pretty much everything, if I were to choose a movie by him, it would only be one. Or if something like, well, again, I'll keep using Rob Zombie. Tyler Mane is in Halloween and Halloween 2. I would only be able to pick either Halloween or Halloween 2. Okay? So that's easy enough, right? So let's just go right into my favorite 5 horror movies that involve or feature wrestlers. Number 5 is Rowdy Roddy Piper in They Live. Alright, I know. How is it number 5, right? This is such a classic movie. Well, wait until you find out The Predator with Jesse the Body Ventura didn't even make my list. They Live kind of just edged it out of there ever so slightly. I like They Live better because it has more quippy humor and I like quips. So, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Anyway, as for the quips in the movie, as far as I know, Roddy Piper actually helped with a bit of that, which makes a lot of sense because the man, he used to cut promos in the wrestling ring, and that's what wrestlers do. They have quips, they have little one-liners, and it's funny, okay? I think he was responsible for the Kick-Ass Chew Bubblegum line, which is so famous and has been quoted and parodied so many times. It's ridiculous, but it's always funny for some reason. I don't know. It's great. Also, the social commentary in They Live is really relevant still right now. Almost more relevant as consumerism has gone up. So yeah, that's my number 5 is They Live. Now where can we go from here? We can only go more ridiculous, and it's wonderful. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so my number 4 is actually a newer one, and it is CM Punk in The Girl on the Third Floor. Now, as of late, CM Punk has been like dipping his toes into horror movies, and it's kind of awesome. He's had a very, very tiny little role in the Soska Sisters remake of Rabbit, which I love that movie. He plays a douchebag that gets killed in a car. It's wonderful. And his wife, I think they're still married, but AJ Lee also appears in that movie. So that's kind of cool, but, you know, not prominent. And there's a movie that just came out called Jacob's Wife. It's a vampire movie. It's supposed to be really good. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently CM Punk plays a small role as a cop in that. But I'm not talking about those movies. I'm talking about The Girl on the Third Floor. So, he's pretty much the star of this movie. We're following only him for the longest time. There's not many people in this movie. I believe it was filmed pre-COVID, but it kind of has that COVID feel where there's not a lot of people in the same room at the same time. I think there's only like 5 or 6 actors in the movie, but CM Punk is awesome in this movie. I need to see more of CM Punk in movies. He is channeling Bruce Campbell in this, and once you think about that, you can't unsee it. I want to see CM Punk play a young Ash Williams at some point. Like, we already have time travel in Evil Dead. Why can't, like, Bruce Campbell Ash go back in time and try and stop this whole Evil Dead thing from happening or something? And when he goes back in time, finds his younger self, and it's played by CM Punk. Like, how cool would that be? Or, like, I mean, it's been 30 odd years since Evil Dead, and you know the way Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 3, kind of the ladies' man, Mr. Williams, so why don't he just pop up, like, if there had been another season of Ash vs. Evil Dead, what if CM Punk popped up as, like, his son? That would be great. Anyway, I'm talking way too much about, like, fantasy booking CM Punk in horror movies, but it's great. Now, I will warn you, Girl on the Third Floor is a weird one. It is a weird movie. There's some body horror stuff. There's some body parts in walls. And I don't mean buried in the walls. I mean, like, the light sockets have lips. But it's really cool. It's a really good movie. I gotta say, it's a really good movie. So I'd check it out. If you like weird stuff like me, check it out. Okay? So we're gonna move on to number 3 now. Okay. Okay, so number 3 is actually the most recent one on the list, and that's Dave Bautista in Army of the Dead. I don't know who's seen this yet. It just came out very recently, and I think it's fantastic. It's on Netflix, so if you haven't seen it and you have Netflix, check it out. I think it's great. If you like things like it is Army of the Dead, Land of the Dead, or the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I absolutely love the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Those are my kind of zombie movies. I like the fast zombie. I like the ridiculous zombie, okay? And it's so funny because Dawn of the Dead, the remake, was done by Zack Snyder, and so was Army of the Dead. And now there's talks of a prequel, which I have the hiccups. I am sorry. Which I am all here for. I am all here for a prequel for Army of the Dead. I think it's called Thieves of the Dead, or I don't know, Heist of the Dead. I don't know. This should have been called Heist of the Dead. But I mean, the zombies in this movie are so cool. And then you have the king and the queen zombie, and they're kind of badass and great. Batista is acting his little heart out, even though this movie is pure cheese and violence and is wonderful. So yeah, if you haven't seen Army of the Dead yet, you definitely need to check it out if you like really dumb, stupid zombie movies. And the guy from Sons of Anarchy is in it. That doesn't help at all. But, spoiler, he gets killed, and he's kind of an asshole in the movie, and he gets killed, and it's wonderful. It's glorious. I love comeuppance deaths. I love it. So yeah, we're gonna move right on to number 2. Number 2 goes to Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg in Santa's Sleigh. I absolutely love this movie. It's a must-watch in December for me. Right alongside of, like, Black Christmas or Krampus. I watch Santa's Sleigh every year during the holidays. I can't help it. I love this movie. This is strictly a horror comedy. If anybody tells you this is not a horror comedy, they're an idiot, okay? This is a horror comedy. This is so funny. The opening scene alone has all these comedic actors in it. I mean, Fran Drescher is in the opening scene. It's hilarious. The Noxzema girl that I can never call anything but the Noxzema girl. She was an urban legend. I think she's funny. I think so. I don't know. Chris Kattan, I do believe, is in the opening scene. It's like a Saturday Night Live skit. This whole thing is a Saturday Night Live skit, but you know, a good one. Bill Goldberg is Santa Claus, but he's the devil, and it's great, and he's killing people, and do I need to say anything else? It's Santa's sleigh. I have yet to find a physical copy that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. I need a physical copy of Santa's sleigh, and it's so funny because the first horror pack hint this month had something to do with like ho 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 and like Santa Claus stuff, and I'm like, please be Santa's sleigh, please be Santa's sleigh. Well, with my luck, it's probably going to be the remake of Black Christmas, which was absolutely atrocious. Silent Night, Deadly Night. I like the remake of that too, I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm talking about other movies. Santa's Sleigh. It's great. It's hilarious. And it's way over the top. And it's so dumb. And the sleigh is... There's a buffalo. I think it's a buffalo or a bison or an ox or something. It's just great, okay? He's playing... Freaking, what is it called? Curling. He's curling with an angel and gets cursed to be Santa Claus for 1,000 years. It's wonderful. Watch Santa's Sleigh. And I'm just gonna move right on to number 1. And here we are. Number 1 is Kane in See No Evil. That's right, See No Evil 2. Now, I loved See No Evil Part 1. I really did. But See No Evil 2 has that more cheesy slasher 90s feel to it that is just everything to me. Like, it has the urban legend feel, the Scream feel, like, it just has that feeling to it. And it's set in a hospital, and I love horror movies set in a hospital. The first one was set in a hotel, which was cool. The first one felt grimy and dirty, and, like, you need to take a shower after watching See No Evil, okay? And it was a great movie. Very nice movie. But See No Evil 2, I mean, Danielle Harris, Katharine Isabelle, like, I am in love with both of those ladies. And if one of them is in something, I'm guaranteed to watch it. I don't care what it is. So if both of them are in something, and they are hamming it up, especially Katharine Isabelle playing the little slutty character, I love it. It is wonderful. I remember the first time I watched See No Evil 2, there's a scene where there's a showdown almost between Danielle Harris and Kane. And you know, Danielle Harris is a little woman. She has a hammer. And I'm there sitting in my seat, not even kidding, screaming, going, he's Kane! You're Danielle Harris with a hammer. What do you think you're doing? Get the fuck out of there. Like, oh my god. Why do I love this movie so much? It is wonderful. If you haven't seen See No Evil Part 2, go watch See No Evil Part 2. It is so great. If you like just dumb slasher, turn off your brain for 5 minutes and don't worry about anything else but Kane is trying to kill Danielle Harris. It's great. It's wonderful. So that's it. That's it. You just need to see you just need to See No Evil Part 2. Okay? Okay, so that's it. My favorite horror movies that feature wrestlers. It's not a complete list. I mean, there's, like you say, the Halloween movies, the Rob Zombie Halloween movies with Tyler Mane. Tyler Mane was also in Devil's Rejects, but he was only there for the opening scene, the shooting scene. He wasn't in House of a Thousand Corpses. I forget who played RJ in that. All I remember is Cars Done. That's it. That's all I remember. I forget who plays RJ in the first one of those. And RJ doesn't make it to the third one. Nobody does except for the Devil's Rejects, 3 from Hell. What else did I miss? The Rock was in Doom, but I wasn't like the hugest, that's a word, the biggest fan of Doom. I mean, it's great. It's more science fiction than horror. But yeah, there's a lot. There's more than I thought there were of wrestlers in horror, and then not to mention like the small parts. Some is in forgive me for not being like know all about wrestling ins and outs. I am just a big fan of... I'm an AEW girl. I'm sorry. But there's a luchador. and I can't remember his name, but I think it roughly translates into the Saint or something. But he's in like a ton, especially older, like Mexican horror movies. L something. Ah, God, it's driving me nuts. I'll probably figure it out as soon as I turn the camera off. But yeah, if I do, I'll put it like right here, who I'm thinking of. But yeah. Anyway, let's hope that with wrestling kind of on an up right now, with new promotions like AEW, I prefer AEW to WWE because it's more fun for me. I don't know. Wrestling fans hate me because of that, but I'm more into it for, you know, the age of Kurt Angle in a tiny hat and Stone Cold with a beer cannon and all this stuff. I like the silly. Make wrestling dumb again, okay? They're trying to make it too much of a sport and stuff. It's not UFC. Make wrestling dumb again. That's my. I need like a hat that says "Make wrestling dumb again." No. I'll be singled out as another kind of hat wearing person if I do that, and I ain't gonna do that. So anyway, I'm gonna go take off. I hope you enjoyed my favorite 5 horror movies that featured wrestlers, and I will see everybody next time.